Well, as we get closer to the holidays and holiday shopping season is underway, of course, Black Friday coming up soon. There's a lot of news coming out recently about impulse buys and credit card rates. So here to help us break it all down is Ted Rossman, Senior Industry Analyst with Bankrate.com. Good morning, Ted.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on once again. I want to start out with a new report on APR for credit cards. So what exactly is APR for folks who may be new to credit cards? When do those interest rates kick in? Kind of how does it all work?
So with APR, we're talking about annual percentage rate, basically the interest rate that you're charged. A key point here is that if you pay your credit card in full every month, the interest rate doesn't matter. You won't be charged interest. This applies, though, to the 47% of cardholders who do carry debt from month to month. And these rates have never been higher. The average for all credit cards is about 21%. The average for retail credit cards is about 29%. And some stores are charging up to about 33%. So really some tremendously high rates there.
Yeah, and we've seen the interest rates continue to go up on everything to kind of like slow consumer spending to help with inflation. Do you think that these high APR rates for credit cards will impact holiday shopping? In other words, people being like, hey, I need to be able to pay back my credit cards. I can't take on this interest rate. Do you think it'll make a difference?
I do get the sense that we'll see a frugal holiday shopper this year. In fact, we did a recent study, and about a third of holiday shoppers said that inflation is impacting their buying decisions. I think holiday sales will be okay. I mean, consumer spending has been remarkably resilient. I think a lot of that is because the job market's been strong, but there is a limit to that. And I do think when people are splurging these days, it tends to be more on experiences. There's still a lot of pent-up demand for travel and dining and concerts that stacked up during the pandemic. So I do think that high inflation and higher interest rates will put a bit of a lid on holiday shopping. I think we'll probably eke out a slight gain over last year, but nothing overly impressive.
Let's turn to another fascinating report you all have published about impulse buys on social media. We've all been there on the phones looking at things that are tailored to us. What did you find in this survey about social media impulses?
About 2 out of every 5 social media users, so about 40%, have made an impulse buy just within the past year, inspired by social media. And the amounts that they're spending are pretty high. It's an average of about $750 per impulse buyer over the past year. That adds up to about $71 billion nationwide. And young adults really stand out. More than half of Gen Zers and millennials are making these impulse buys on social media. The average for millennials is a little over $1,000 this past year.
Wow. And I thought it was also interesting, too. 57% say they regretted it. We've been there. You know, the interesting psychology of it, we just showed a graphic that I want to put this up again because kind of about the social media economy. So more than half agree that social media presents these unrealistic lifestyles. Take us through this part of the study because I really thought this was fascinating.
I thought this was interesting, too, this kind of disconnect between, most people say that social media promotes unrealistic financial expectations, but very few admit to doing this themselves. So it's kind of like, oh, not me, everybody else is doing that. Sometimes I think we contribute to it unwillingly, or at least some people do. Everybody wants to put their best foot forward on social media, right? But as they say, if you try to keep up with the Joneses might be in debt. Maybe these experiences aren't all they're cracked up to be. A lot of people later regret them. So my advice would be maybe institute a waiting period. Sleep on it before buying something on impulse.
Right. And just kind of one final thought here with the holiday shopping season and impulse buying, what are just maybe one more takeaway about just buying things online and easily just at the click of a button?
Besides that waiting period, another tip would be don't link your credit and debit card information online. I think sometimes that one-click order is just too easy. It's more painful to pay with cash. Now, you can't do that online in most cases, but you can insert a little bit of friction into the process by having to find your wallet, dig out your card, type in the number. That alone may serve as a worthy deterrent because we don't want to take on credit card debt for these impulse buys, not with records record high interest rates.
Yeah, 30% interest rates will fix that, we think, real quick. Well, Ted Rossman with Bankrate.com, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.